Hello, one and all, and welcome back to another recording of the TomCast. It is, of course, myself, Tom the Chosen One, and I am greeted and joined by my two good friends, Mike, aka Beaver PI, and also Andrew.
Good to be back.
How is everybody doing today?
I'm doing pretty good, man. I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling a lot better than the last time we started recording. So.
You're not hungover this time, are you?
No, I'm not. I'm incredibly not hungover. Incredibly
Perfect. Yeah, that's good. That's good. And it's got changed into me because I'm a little under the weather. Not as bad as I was a couple of days ago, but yeah, not as good as I usually am for one of these. So. Hopefully it doesn't come across, but whatever.
What about you, Andrew? How you doing?
I am glad to say that I am not sick nor hungover, although considering it was you last time and now it's Tom, maybe it'll be time for me to get sick or something go wrong in the next recording. Yeah, it'll happen eventually.
Yeah, hopefully not though. Hopefully not.
Fingers crossed, knock on wood.
Apart from that, yeah, no, how's everybody been?
I've been really busy, so I'm gonna say that my my interaction or knowledge on what the heck we're talking about, if it's new, it's probably outside my purview. I've been incredibly distracted with work recently, so. Yeah,
no, fair enough. It's been a couple of weeks since our last one. Usually we do these every other week, but it could be every third week, and we don't really have a set schedule for it. But for a week, I was a bit out of action, not because I was out of action, but I was actually just not at home. Part of it I was in working away from home, and then the other part of it I was in Estonia hanging out with some goons over there that I'll probably have on for the TomCast one of these days for them to just ruin it for everybody. And then I went there, then came back and immediately got sick. And I've been dealing with it for the whole week. But it's looking like maybe, just maybe, we're finished. We're done with it. So hopefully it don't sound too bad coming from the microphone. But anyway, Andrew, what you been up to?
Not too much from the usual. I've been trying to watch a few things so that I have a little bit more to talk about in our what we've been watching and playing section. Actually, Tom, I'm interested to hear about your travels because I've seen the photos, but I want to hear the first-hand accounts from you yourself. Okay, well, I guess, we're already on our first little tangent. That was unplanned, but whatever. It don't matter.
No, it went pretty well. Was just up there for a few days just to basically visit some friends up there and then join them for the Estonian Independence Day, which is on February 24th.
Independence Day, okay.
Which is also sadly marks as the 1-year anniversary of the start of the war in Ukraine. So I know for the fellas out there, it means a lot for them when people from all over show up. So every time there's a big event like that, there's not just the Estonians, there's usually somebody else like myself, and then usually the Latvians and maybe some Lithuanians, because all the Baltic countries, they're all pretty close to each other. So it's nice to be treated one of them. I'm, when I go up to them, I go, yo, hey, what's good in the hood? But no, the flight there is awful because leaving from over here in Bologna, Guglielmo Marconi, which is the guy who invented the radio, that's what the airport is named after.
Oh, but, that's cool.
Yeah, the flight leaves here to Amsterdam at like 6 a.m. So you gotta get there at like 4, so it's like, and then you get there to Amsterdam, and then you fly on an Air Baltic flight to Tallinn, and then from there it's not too bad. But instead of staying in Tallinn for a day, I immediately just went down to the southern Estonian city of Tartu. I would call it southern, but it has been explained to me by the Estonians all have a very different perception of what is southern Estonia. everybody seems to agree that the city, more like town compared to what we all know of Voru, is southern Estonia. Most people then agree that Tartu is southern Estonia, and then so on and so forth. But go down there because there are quite a few people from the server here that's down in Tartu, so I always got to visit them. Also because nobody else visits them. Those poor, sorry saps. Nobody else wants to visit them, so it's like, well, better give them their consolation Tom visit. Hand it out.
I mean, it's Estonia. Do most people even know where Estonia is?
Yeah.
How many people can actually point to it on a map?
Well, Mike doesn't even believe it exists.
Estonia is not real. It's not real. It's a made-up country.
Yeah.
I have made so many enemies.
Yeah. Well, we've already went through this. We already went through the snaps of no, this country's fake. And then it's like, okay, hand it to my good buddy Carl, who's like, okay, I'm going to say a bunch of slurs to this guy in Estonian.
He called me a pretzel and then whinnied at the screen. He lit a at the screen.
Oh my. But anyway, it was pretty good.
I'm sorry.
Sorry. On the day of the independence, they had a big military parade. And
nice.
I had straight up seen more Canadian soldiers in one spot in Estonia than I have in Canada, which is kind of funny. Huh. But yeah, they had soldiers from the US, they had soldiers from Britain, France, Belgium, Denmark, and stuff like that.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Got to see a couple tanks, got to see some the Leopard 2s. Denmark had a couple Leopard 2s there. Got to see the famous or infamous HIMARS system. That was pretty neat. And there was even some guys from Ukraine there, so it was pretty neat.
That's good.
That's pretty dope.
And the highlight of the show was two B-52 Stratofortress bombers from the US that did a flyby that was quite spectacular. Those things are huge, ginormous, and they're loud, but they're always a treat to see.
That Snapchat that you sent to them was absolutely amazing. Damn, they are, even from that height, they looked incredibly intimidatingly huge.
Yeah. But yeah, that was my little trip up north for a little bit, and then I don't know when it's the next trip, but we'll see how it goes. But
now Mike and I need to plan a trip to get over to you, and then we can join you on these adventures.
Oh yeah, for sure. You come over here, then we'll go to Estonia. I could point to the ground and show people that.
See, look, it is real.
It's right there. You're standing on it.
And
you
then,
can deny this no longer.
We'll be blinded. We'll be blinded before we even get there, so we'll never know.
Yeah.
I'm very well might end up with a hood over my head the second I enter the country.
Yeah.
I think I may have made some Estonians angry with my previous comments.
Yeah, they're gonna force feed you a sult, and then mintu. Sult is a meat jelly. It's a famous Estonian meat jelly. It's actually not it's not bad as far as meat jellies are concerned. But
I'll take your word for it.
That's like saying
it's just collagen gel from bones and stuff. And what?
That's how if you properly do it. Yeah,
that's
you put in the meat and stuff. That's not bad. It's like another meat jelly. It's probably the best meat jelly I've had, but I ain't gonna lie, that's not really saying much.
Yeah.
I've never had a meat jelly, so.
The best Estonian food, that's more like a Finno-Ugric kind of food, is it's called lohe soup. Sorry to the Estonians out there for my mispronunciation. I don't give a damn. It's
at least you believe in the nation.
Yeah. It's a milk-based salmon soup with a lot of thyme and a lot of dill in it. It's really, really good. If you ever go
salmon soup.
Yeah, I'll send some after this call or whatever. But
okay, gotcha.
It is a I won't literally send some. I wish I could.
Oh,
it would probably be rotten by
for nothing.
But no, it's a really good one. And then I had bear while I'm up there as well, because they have that a lot. They have that a lot more than we do down here. We have,
I bet,
wild boar. They have a lot of in Estonia, and we got that in Italy as well. In Italy, it's called cinghiale. I had some. My neighbor gave some for Christmas, and it was really, really good. But no, that was about it. And then I did go for a day trip up to Helsinki and visited some friends there, and then went and got myself a nice, wonderful jacket, a very drippy jacket.
Oh yes, I saw. And it wasn't very expensive too, if I recall correctly.
No, it was only 60 euros.
Jeez.
Which is pretty good. And then I come back to Italy, and it's currently, well, right now it's night, but the day I came back, well, it was night by the time I got back, but it was 14 degrees the night I got back. So I'm like, oh, wonderful. This jacket's useless.
Oh. But you'll be ready for next time.
Yeah, I'll be ready for next winter. But yeah, right now it's 9 degrees, and it's 22:12, so 10:12 p.m. So it's a bit of a warmer night tonight, but I guess this part of the Earth is getting a bit more sunlight, if I recall. Mm-hmm. If I know my astrophysics, I think that's how it works.
Yeah,
lucky
you are.
for you.
Yeah,
It's currently -9 in Edmonton.
Yeah, it'll be a bit before we catch up.
Ouch. Ooh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
You poor thing.
Oh. We're freezing in Canada and you're laughing. You're laughing.
Yeah. Yeah, and then, yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, why you're so cold? What took you so long, idiot?
I live in a province that the wind hurts my face. This is just not natural. This is not good.
It can't be like that in the Baltics. I know in Riga in Latvia it gets really windy over there. And some days it's like, man, this is no fun. This is no fun. Granted, when it gets to summer, I will be crying. I will be crying my eyes out because it's going to be so hot and so humid.
That's right. We're going to be the ones who's laughing. Who's laughing now?
We got the dry heat.
Yeah. And then I'll go to the beach and it'll be all better.
Yeah, you do have
we
that
don't have
over
beaches
us.
in landlocked Alberta.
We got a few big lakes.
Yeah, they're not fine enough. Because you want to go dipping in a radioactive puddle? Absolutely. This is your place. This is your province.
That is my idea of summer break. Radioactive ponds and oil fields.
Well, for reference, for those, I used to live in Lethbridge, and the river floating down there was fine under the Oldman Bridge until you reached the, was that a sewage treatment plant that was just down the way?
Oh, yeah.
A water treatment plant.
Yeah, our first interaction floating down there was just, why are my, what's all this scummy stuff on my legs? The smell just hits you and it's, oh God, oh, what have I done? You drifted too far.
Yeah. You've been infected with Las Plagas.
Las
And then you
Plagas.
start speaking Spanish.
Rhabdo or something, who knows? Some sort of hepatitis B or C, God knows what.
Yeah, hepatitis Z.
Well,
A
what would
through
you like
Z.
to call this new
A through
disease?
Z. You get hepatitis A through Z and Park Lake. That's where you get it.
Park Lake, oh God,
Absolutely.
yeah. And this stream has just become us shitting on our hometowns.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a little dumpy, but don't worry. It's dumpy. It's dumpy wherever you look if you look hard enough.
Yeah. That's fair
Good
enough.
old meth bridge.
Yeah. Anyway, I think we should get on to our first news topic for today.
Sounds good.
Oops, I didn't post it yet, so let me post it here. There we go.
What are we looking at today?
It's on over there.
Ooh.
So this is from PC Gamer, written by Rick Stanton, and it is legendary designer Shinji Mikami to leave Tango Gameworks and Xbox, best known for creating the Resident Evil series, but with a huge list of hits. Tango Gameworks' co-founder and legendary game director Shinji Mikami is set to leave the studio within the coming months, Bethesda has confirmed. Mikami set up Tango after leaving Platinum Games, which he had also co-founded with several Capcom alumni. His career began at Capcom, where he quickly recognized as a singular talent, and he cut his directorial teeth on a licensed 16-bit tooth Goof Troop of all things, before going on to design and direct the game that would make his name, Resident Evil. A company email began circulating earlier today and has been confirmed as authentic by Bethesda, which has released its own statement saying, and I quote, "I am writing today to let you know that studio head Shinji Mikami has decided to leave Tango Gameworks in the coming months," said Bethesda SVP Todd Vaughn. Mikami-san has been a creative leader and a supportive mentor to young developers at Tango for 12 years through his work on the Evil Within franchise, Ghostwire Tokyo, and the newly released Hi-Fi Rush. This has been a feature of Mikami's career. After Resident Evil, he worked on Dino Crisis and guided the young Hideki Kamiya and directing the game's sequel before returning to the series with the outstanding Resident Evil 4. And the article basically keeps going on to say all his accolades, but it's another case of old talent getting to the end and going, you know what? I want to retire. And so with that, I don't know. I'll leave it for you guys to make your immediate comments.
So it doesn't say, like, why he's leaving exactly?
He's retiring.
Just so... I'm reading through this and just saying, like, he's only 57. I mean, dude's got a lot of life in him. Damn, he's got a resume behind him.
Yeah, he's probably got quite the accolade. Let's see.
Damn, yeah, this is, you're probably not going to see another Evil Within. Sorry. Wait, he made Godhead?
Ooh.
Oh, that's what this is right here. It's like they're saying maybe he might do one more major project. So is this the time for a God Hand 2? You know what? Going out on a ridiculous note like that, and I don't mean ridiculous in a like bad way. Ridiculous and just so silly. God Hand is just hilarious. I've never played it, but I watched so much gameplay of it because it's meme worthy. It's just glorious.
Oh, that game is incredibly silly.
I'm not even sure if you really can play it now. Like, what was it released on? I can't even remember.
PS2.
PlayStation 2, I think.
PS2.
Yeah.
There's probably only like a few thousand copies out there that still exist.
Oh shit.
Well, there's a piece of machinery called a emulator that you can use to.
Yo, so funny.
Yeah, I'm gonna pirate my games because I can't spend $600 million on a copy.
It still baffles me that it's sitting at a 3 on IGN.
Oh yeah, it's worse than Ubisoft Babies or something like that.
Oh, that is just sad to think about.
But the community reviews are sitting at a 77%.
Good.
Gee,
Yep.
What a disconnect.
But
IGN not getting the message?
What?
Oh, for the millionth time. Granted, to be fair, to play not devil's advocate, but IGN is a company made up of various different writers and so on, and so that particular writer might be a poo-poo head, because there are some former IGN writers that I actually quite enjoy, such as Colin Moriarty. He writes a lot of stuff now, but now he does like the podcast circuit, I think. But
What does that name sound familiar?
I think his most infamous, and I know he'll never listen to this, and even if you do, I apologize, but he's most infamous for being a immediate Mass Effect 3 ending apologist.
Oh,
He was that, like, when it first came out, before there was that extended cut. He was the one of the first apologists for that, along with a good friend of mine that I went, it's like, everything else is really good. This ending is kind of poo-poo though. But now it don't matter. It don't matter. But
yeah, we've made our peace with it, so to speak.
Yeah, it's been more than 10 years now. It's going to be 11 years in March or May. But anyway.
Oh my god, you're right. Oh.
To get back to the news story at hand, I'm not completely surprised with this because he has been saying for quite a few years now that he's wanted to retire. And if you watch a lot of interviews or read interviews with Shinji Mikami, he's very much of the belief that video games and video games production is like a young man's game, and that he wants the newer talent to come in and do their work. And so you've seen this famously with Resident Evil 2. He could have directed Resident Evil 2 right after Resident Evil 1, but no, he gave it to Hideki Kamiya, and he directed Resident Evil 2 and made a great game, and fostered that relationship for him to grow. And since then, Hideki Kamiya has done tons and tons and tons of great games.
Right,
and
it's another name.
Recently, within Tango Gameworks itself, before she departed Tango Gameworks, Ikumi Nakamura was supposed to be the director for Ghostwire Tokyo, and then she had to leave the project. For the audience out there that doesn't remember or doesn't know, there was that one E3 where they showed off Ghostwire Tokyo, and she was the one Japanese lady that was like spooky.
Oh my gosh, her enthusiasm was infectious. It was adorable.
It was wonderful, yeah, but sadly she had to leave the project. But everything, yeah, he's done it, and especially in Tango, to reiterate, in the case of The Evil Within 2, he didn't direct The Evil Within 2. That was actually directed by John Johannes, who I think is going to be basically his protege at the studio after everything is said and done, because John Johannes also just recently finished directing another game at Tango Gameworks, and that was the one that you guys just saw me play a little bit before recording, which was Hi-Fi Rush, which it is not my favorite Tango Gameworks game because I love The Evil Within and The Evil Within 2. I will be bold to say that Hi-Fi Rush is probably critically their best game they've made. It is like, I finished it just right after I got back from Estonia, and it's the best way to put that in is that it is a concert. It's like a perfect concert. It just ramps up, and the set list is perfect, and then it ends on the perfect note. Like, that's what that game is. It is exquisite, but by the time this video is out, my impressions on Hi-Fi Rush will already be released, which
ooh,
I'm
so you should
working
all
on right
subscribe.
now.
Be ready for that.
Yeah. Well, by the time this podcast comes out, that video will already be out, so.
Well, then they should already be aware.
Yeah, they should already be aware, and they should be kowtowing to my very feet, kissing my toes, because y'all love me so much. But
and if you haven't watched that video, go watch it now.
That's right. We gotta speak for the future.
I've been watching you play the game, and the music in it is pretty damn good. The fact that every single time you swing your guitar, is that a guitar that he's carrying?
Yeah.
It looked like a freaking.
It is a guitar.
it is it's basically like his cybernetic arm that originally is, because let me just do the premise of this game quickly for the audience, is that you play this wannabe, like, slips on a banana peel goofy guy called Chai, who goes to, like, this Vandalay, which is this corporation in this game, that is doing, like, cybernetics and robotics. And so at the beginning of the game, you're missing an arm, and you go to Vandalay for this Project Armstrong to get a new arm. And so he cuts all the way through the line, gets to the top, and then goes through the process of getting his robotic arm put on. And all this opening sequence is to the tune of Lonely Boy by the Black Keys, so it's wonderful. And then right before they put on the arm, his MP3 player like ends up falling through the cracks and then lands like right where his heart is. So when he gets like pressed with the machine to have his robotic arm attached, his MP3 is fused with his heart. And so that's where, like, in the game, everything you're aware of runs to the beat. So like your heartbeat is literally the musical beat of the world around you. So like machinery moves to the beat, like factories working move to the beat, like steam hissing going tss, 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 does it to the beat. It's really a wonderful spectacle. But anyways, his arm is it's a garbage picker, because that was the job he was assigned. And then because it had a magnet on it and it has like his heart is attached to it as well, it turns into a guitar in combat, and you beat the hell out of the robots to the beat.
Well, watching you play the combat in that game, there was those samurai creatures that you would have a standoff with them, and they would have a beat that you would have to copy and remember to counter everything, and that was amazing. I was like, oh, I need to play this.
Because how it works, since it's a rhythm action game, is that the beat that you fight to, like if you attack on the beat, you do extra damage and you can connect combos a lot better and finish them with more damage. And of course, like your S rank gauge increases as well. But the cooler part to me is that the enemies run on the same logic. So they attack you on the beat. So like the same, with the samurai, like there's that showdown where like, he puts the sword down and it's a robot samurai speaking Robo-Japanese. And it goes, and it shows, when he's going to attack. And then there's other ones that show when they attack and when you need to dodge. So like when you need to dodge and when you need to parry. And so, it does it to a musical pattern. It's like, and then, you got to parry it to the pattern. And when all the gears are functioning, the game's running on all cylinders, the soundtrack's running on all cylinders, it's incredible. It's a genuine spectacle to behold. Like, 9 Inch Nails has a couple of songs in here. Like, there's one section where you, like, bust in through a building, and it's like, he tries doing, like, a Sasquatch walk, and it's, like, displayed on the TV.
Sasquatch walks.
He's doing, like, sort of, like, stride, and it shows that exact same frame on a TV saying, like, wanted, have you seen this man? And it's this mess hall full of robots that are just looking at him like, and at that moment, like, Invaders Must Die by The Prodigy kicks in, and it's like, to reference another 9 Inch Nails song, it is the perfect drug. That's like, just right in my arm, please, right here. That game's the best game I played this year so far, without a doubt. And that only happened because Shinji Mikami has trust in the younger generation and the younger people at his studio that he sort of fostered and created to make something wonderful and new and brilliant. And so Shinji Mikami leaving Tango Gameworks and retiring out of gaming is not necessarily a bad thing, because I think he's left behind a incredible resume of incredible games that he's directed and influenced people to make a bunch of incredible games that have also been directed. So that's my 2 cents on that subject there.
Well, sayonara, King, you will be missed.
How long has he been in the industry now?
Since the 90s.
Yeah,
the man did
90s.
Dino Crisis. So that came out in like 98, 99. I mean, damn, that's an old gold game. You want to talk about a good Resident Evil clone? That is one of them.
Creative leader and supportive mentor to young developers. I get the feeling that he'll still probably be around as like a consultant and support. He just won't be directly involved with a lot of the development. So
like a lot of
so he'll still definitely be around.
Yeah, a lot of game developers that have retired have always kind of kicked around as like not producers, but like people that talk to consultants, that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. But looking at his Wikipedia fact sheet, the first couple games that he's done, one is like Capcom Quiz, whatever, who cares? But first notable one is Who Framed Roger Rabbit and Goof Troop on the Game Boy and the probably the Super Nintendo. 93, Super Nintendo.
Wow.
So you go from that, and then the next thing you do is Disney's Aladdin, and then after Disney's Aladdin, it's Resident Evil as director. Which to me is incredible. Like that just shows how crazy game development is.
Oh yeah.
It's the same as the guy who directed The Evil Within 2, John Johannes, who was just kind of like head like level designer at The Evil Within 1, and then after that it's like, oh, he's director. And it's like, oh, that was really great. And now he's director for Hi-Fi Rush, and it's like, oh, perfect. It's like your kick-out role.
Yeah, no better note, excuse my pun, to leave on than Hi-Fi Rush.
Oh, for sure.
No
for
higher
sure.
note.
Yeah, we do a little trolling around here.
From what little I've seen, I definitely want to check out Hi-Fi Rush. So,
and that's a Game Pass game. And it's a Game Pass game. Yeah, it's on Game Pass.
All right. I have no excuse then.
Get Game Pass.
That's why I was
Microsoft
kinda
sponsor us,
confused.
please. We can't chill it enough.
Well, that game, it came out in... So basically, they showed, like, Xbox had their little developer direct thing where they show off, like, here's the new games coming out in the next couple months. And when they did it, they only announced that there was going to be, like, Arcane, the Forza Motorsport studio, and then some other studio.
Oh yeah, Arcane still exists.
And so they were like, oh, we're doing games from this. And then the show comes up, and I watch it because I like to watch these things. And then it's like, oh, and by the way, we got a thing from Tango Gameworks that we're going to show off. And so I'm like, oh, okay. I thought personally it was going to be the announcement of Ghostwire Tokyo on Game Pass or coming to Xbox, because PlayStation did have that for a year of exclusivity. This was they did that before they got acquired. Bethesda got acquired by Xbox. But anyway, so then it comes to the Tango Gameworks section, and it's like, here's this brand new game. I'm like, wow. It's like, what? Damn. This game looks great. This game looks good. And then at the end of it, it's like, oh yeah, and you know what's the best part? The game releases now. You can play it now. And I'm like, what? I'm freaking out. And so yeah, I installed it right away, played it, and it's been my favorite game this year.
Dang. Well,
I just saw an image on Google for Hi-Fi Rush where it's the main character posing with the cat, and just by that alone, I know that these character designs and their personalities are just extremely fun, despite having seen almost nothing about it.
This game is goofy. Goofy. Like, I remember it got a lot of crap because it came around the same time as Forspoken, aka Foreskin. And Foreskin has the worst, like, sort of MCU-ish quip dialogue.
Yeah, no, that I have heard and seen.
Like,
now that, oh my
like
goodness.
subpar mocap where ladies like looking back and forth, and it's like, did I just do that? I move shit with my mind. We did that. I just move shit with my mind. Like stuff like that, and it's like, oh wow, this is awful. And then here comes Xbox with Hi-Fi Rush, and they're like, well, the dialogue's cringy here, and I'm like, yeah, but this looks like a Saturday morning cartoon.
Yeah, no,
and
they're
it doesn't
not
take
taking
itself
themselves
seriously.
seriously at all. Like, Forspoken definitely was trying to take itself seriously.
Oh, God, yeah. God, that game.
It also doesn't help that Chai is a likable protagonist that is the type of guy that would slip on a banana peel. Not to mention, the villains are also, like, fun to hate. I don't really hate them. I like all the villains, but the first villain that you get is Rekka. That is a, like, big, like, Texas, like, woman, like, muscle woman. That is a, that's like a pro wrestling fan. So she's got like wrestling gloves and stuff like that, and a big like belt that says the boss.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And then it's great. There's one cutscene where you're like on a zip line or something like that, and it's an animated cutscene where Rekka has like a dialogue box that she's talking to, and she like steps out, like steps on the dialogue box, like morphs it, goes into the screen, like basically breaks the fourth wall, and like flicks the bomb off a robot, and it falls, and then that's what causes the cutscene to go to the next point. I saw that, and I had such a stupid giant smile on my face playing it, and I'm like, yeah. And that's the thing, and that's the best recommendation I can get any game, is if from beginning to end I had a huge smile on my face the whole time just enjoying it. It's great. Like, it's one of those where if I play it and I beat a fight and I got an S rank, it's like if there was a Tom cam, Tom like does like does a little fist pump, does a little like surfs up like motion, stuff like that. It was like it was great. Oh, I was having so much fun playing this game. So yeah.
To quote an industry legend, if the game is not fun, why bother?
Yeah,
exactly.
That's good. Take notes, Square Enix.
Yeah, oh god, man, just everything that involves the a fucking Unreal Engine at this point. The new Unreal Engine is just so lackluster.
Yeah, it's weird though, because they were promised how it was supposed to be this revolutionary thing. But yeah, we can go into that next time. We can go into that at some other time.
Yeah, we'll go for that some other time. The only thing I'm gonna say is that it's an engine. It's the people who develop it. That's all I'm gonna say. It's up to the people to develop it to make something special. But to curate this disgusting conversation and go to our first topic, which I believe, shows how prepared I am. Let's do this one. Let's do this one. Game franchises that need a Dr. Phil intervention. And so this is one that I kind of came up with. And it's basically, we all know a game franchise, or maybe movie franchise, but let's just limit it to games, where you know who has a hold of them, but you want him to sit them down and go, I'm taking this away from you and I'm giving it to somebody else because you clearly don't know what the hell you're doing. So I'm going to start off, and the game franchise I immediately think of, the immediate one that comes to my mind is Halo with 343 Industries or Game Studios, which is just it's just like, what the hell are you doing at that studio? Like, no other studio in any other like game franchise would have had as many opportunities as 343 has had to screw it up so many times. Came out with Halo 4, kind of screwed up. Came out with Halo 5, screwed up out of the gate. Came out with the Master Chief Collection that originally, on the original like Xbox One, was broken beyond repair. Like, incredibly broken. And then over time, it got fixed to the point where it is now, where it's like a technical marvel. It is like 4 different game engines in one package that just works. And then the latest one, sadly, is Halo Infinite, where it starts off strong, and then it's like, okay, and where's the rest of the content? And nothing. Just nothing. And it's like, how can you screw it up so much and keep going with it? And so, if I was Dr. Phil, I would sit down 343 and John Halo to my stand, and I'd be like, this man is going to foster care, and you're not touching him anymore. It's the worst Dr. Phil impression.
No, that was great.
And I don't know, I guess like when it comes to an intervention as well, I also think in terms of Halo, I think Halo needs to go away for a little while. And when it comes back, I think it needs to change the genre. If I look at the latest sort of Halo games that really, really interested me, they'd be Halo Wars, which were strategy games. And then ODST, that was a lot more somber, a lot more quiet, a lot more like grounded down. And I was thinking the other day about, and everybody's gonna roll their eyes when they hear this one, but
all right, here we go.
In terms of Halo, if Halo comes back, however so much, I want it to be like a first-person survival horror game. I want it to be like Alien Isolation. If you think of Alien Isolation and The Flood, and you mix that together, I think you'd get an incredible game.
As soon as you mentioned ODST, I kind of felt like ODST should have been more covert, like ops sort of deal, like kind of like what you're talking about, where you're human, you're not a Spartan, you're not this superhuman soldier that could take on an elite. You should absolutely be terrified of them even being anywhere near you. Grunts should be a bit of a challenge in that, but in that game you're still kind of going around like John Halo, as you said, going around and beating the crap out of elites and tearing down their shields with your bare fists. It didn't really fit the atmosphere of the lone soldier behind enemy lines.
Yeah, but
Still
even it trying to be a little different goes a long way.
Yeah, I agree. Survival horror in Halo would have been amazing. Like even just from the eyes of like a civilian trying to like, because there were resistance groups in that game, if I recall correctly. So I mean, playing as something like that where you have outcroppings and trying to get supplies to different locations to create a resistance against the elites before they glass the planet or something, that'd be totally cool.
Oh yeah, for sure. And that would be spooky. Like you even see that in Halo 4 a little bit with like a Long Night of Solace, I think is the name of the level, where you're just evacuating people from the city of New Alexandria while they're glassing it, and it's sad, somber, but a little scary as well. Like I could only imagine what it would be like to be a civilian in this existential war against a malevolent alien force. It would be scary. It'd be scary for sure. But another other genre that I would like to see it do, just to change things up and become more fresh and interesting, is played through Battlefleet Gothic a couple of years ago. And it's Halo, because of the amount of ships that it has through different factions, it'd be cool to have like a really like super hands-on micromanagey space combat sim, where like Battlefleet Gothic, where you got all your different ship classes and you got to fight them against the Covenant or vice versa. I think that'd be really neat. But anyway, what do you guys think? What game franchise do you know of needs a Dr. Phil like sit down intervention?
So I actually thought you were going to maybe choose this one. In my opinion, would be the Assassin's Creed franchise. It started off so strong, and I don't know if you guys will agree with me, but to my opinion, Assassin's Creed 2 is probably one of the better ones out there. I
think a lot of people would agree with you in that regard.
The pacing, the story, it kept true to its original. Like, you are an assassin, you are someone that needs to actually like stay to the shadows, get a good vantage point, and in one shot take out your enemy. The new RPG styles in Odyssey, Valhalla, I can't remember the other ones, but
Origins in Egypt.
Yeah, like it's absolutely garbage how you can have like it's a sword. Damn it, it's still a sword, and I can still stab someone with it. But now this sword isn't boosted with enough damage, so you didn't instantly kill this person from the shadows by stabbing them in the neck. You just kind of pissed them off. What? Oh god, it pissed me off. I have yet to check out. I think it's called Unity, the one that exists in the French Revolution.
Oh, Unity. That one was very buggy when it came out, but I genuinely enjoy it now.
That's what I've heard. It was incredibly buggy, but now that they fixed a lot of the bugs, the gameplay and the story is absolutely phenomenal. The parkour in it is some of the most fluid from what I've heard. It's one of the last original Assassin's Creed game, and I've just bought it. I'm planning on playing through it just to see what I've missed, because after I can't remember which one it was. I think it was the one where Ezio is super old and he's going around the world. Revelations, that was one of the last ones, because even the story in the main modern day got a little out of hand between the assassins and the Templars. Yeah, it needs. I think this game series needs a bit of a soft reset, essentially. Like, maybe go back to its roots, start a whole nother campaign in a different era of humanity. Just say like, okay, everything that happened before, that's canon, but it's no longer as well before us. It doesn't matter anymore. Now we're gonna start with something fresh and go back to its original assassins.
I'd almost argue like every single property under Ubisoft needs an intervention. All the Tom Clancy games.
Oh yeah,
my god,
Prince of Persia. all these games,
Rainbow Six last time.
Sam Fisher and all of his like smooth speed kills. As soon as I saw that, I was like, my boy, what have you done to my boy? This isn't Assassin's Creed 3. Ah!
Oh my goodness, Splinter Cell. I don't even want to think about it. It's going to make me so upset.
When was the last time there was a proper true to form Splinter Cell title?
Was that
Conviction, I think.
Maybe Double Agent. Conviction was still kind of having that speedy, like, what was it? You had that marking system where you could speed kill, like, headshot 3 guys in a row or, like, 7 guys in a row. That was a little too action-packed for me. It delved away from the stealth. I think Double Agent is kind of the last true-to-form Splinter Cell games where it had that slow-paced stealth.
Yeah, I'm with you there. It's probably Double Agent.
I forgot about Splinter Cell. God, yeah, that's a... Oh, man.
In this episode, we despair. In this episode,
I feel like we despair in a lot of the episodes so far. It's just going to become a common theme.
Yeah, where we start off really, really happy and glad, and then it's like, oh, here's this thing that happened. And I'm like...
Oh, I made myself sad.
Yeah.
Anyways, Andrew, what do you think? Who needs an intervention? What game series needs to get thrown into Maury Povich and been denied the father?
I think a lot of people would probably say like Star Wars, and you know, once upon a time I might have agreed with them with the way EA's handled it with, say, like Battlefront and canceling that one single-player title that was supposed to be headed by the lady who front-runned Uncharted, yeah. But I'm gonna go
Visceral.
with...
That was a Visceral, and they shut that down?
That's right. Completely shut down, yeah. But I'm gonna go with one that probably is a bit more niche, but I had tons of enjoyment growing up. The Overlord franchise, which is essentially just like, for those who are unaware, it's just like, you can imagine Pikmin, but with more, I guess, crass and irreverent humor where you play as the villain. That one is, of course, owned by Codemasters, which, if you're unaware, their major claim to fame as of late has been racing games, and
they got bought up by EA.
They got bought up by EA?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, jeez.
I think last year or the year before.
Who don't they own?
Yeah. We can't keep getting away with this. But the actual developers for the previous 2 games were Triumph Studios, who were responsible for, I believe, Age of Wonders now, which is a strategy game. But anyway, they developed those 2 games, and they weren't perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but they were competent. They were fun. The mechanics, though simple, actually functioned, and the minions were always
Mm-hmm.
goofy. And then there was one spin-off title on the DS, whatever, it's a handheld, I don't want to care too much about that. And then Codemasters released a new Overlord title, and there was big hype amongst our little niche community because, oh my gosh, it's been God knows how many years, and we're getting another thing, and it ended up being a crappy Diablo clone because Codemasters can't make anything but racing games. Yes, it was a crappy Diablo clone.
It was an action
crazy,
RPG?
right? Yeah.
God, that would be such a betrayal.
I know.
That's like Spoony betrayal level.
Betrayal! This game betrayed me!
This game sucks!
But yeah, no, that franchise is now probably dead in the water. It's gone the way of, say, Saints Row, I'd imagine. With their new reboots. We don't talk about that, so never gonna see the light of day again, but it would be fun. I wonder though if maybe that type of gameplay wouldn't mesh too well with its target audience, because like I described it, it's Pikmin, but for more mature audience, and Pikmin is always been seen more as like a child game.
And it had that Nintendo logo onto it. All the what's the like console war rude name for Nintendo people? Some Nintoddlers. There we go. The
Nintoddlers. Ooh, that's good.
The Nintoddlers would just eat it all up. They'd eat it all up. If Overlord had the Nintendo logo on it, they'd eat it up. And if it was on Switch.
Well, then Nintendo, come on, get on it.
Yeah,
there's
go buy
something
it
there, please, I'm begging you.
Oh my.
But yeah, no,
Goofy
that would
stuff.
probably be one of my major ones. If I were to ask, say, my brother, he would probably throw BioWare and under the bus and criticize their treatment of Dragon Age as of late, but I don't want to paraphrase his opinions.
Went there. Yeah, we already went there.
You can watch the previous episode on our feelings behind the newest leaks behind Dreadwolf.
Which is like, okay.
Yeah, it's
okay.
something.
Just be kind of good, okay. I want to touch on lightly your kind of previous pick in Star Wars, and it kind of being ironic where that sort of intervention exactly happened to EA, where they got the license taken away from them. They had the license for Star Wars games to like develop and publish Star Wars games for 10 years from Lucasfilm, and they got that taken away from them because of things like the first two Battlefronts and stuff like that. And so now there's quite a few other studios developing Star Wars games. So yeah, it's kind of, to me, it was kind of funny you mentioned that, because like it's like, oh, they need an intervention. It's like, yeah, they already got one. They already got their intervention. They got that stuff taken away from them.
Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. You've heard it here today. I've been living under the rock the whole time.
Yeah, funny how it goes.
But I do want to go back to kind of what you were saying earlier, Tom, about the survival horror aspect for, say, like Halo. Like, were you thinking of survival horror as in you're avoiding the flood, or like you are just like a person who needs to actively survive during an alien invasion?
Yes. No. It would be cool if it was both. Fair enough. Because I could see it both ways. If you want to have... You could have it very combat-y, but more so in the... Like, the perfect example I can think of is Alien Isolation, where you're not a combat person, you don't know how to do combat, and so you're just a normal, even say technician, thrust into this world where I think more feasible, would be the Flood, but even the Covenant, I think, would be really neat, because they are really... Most of the enemy species in that Covenant are taller than you. I think the elites are something like 9 feet tall.
Oh, Jesus.
And so they're big, scary alien monsters that would, that could be really spooky to deal with. And each one's kind of different in how they behave and things like that. And I think would be really neat for the AI. But also as a subversion and just something different within sci-fi horror. Because a lot of sci-fi horror, if we take a look at the Callisto Protocol or Dead Space or things like that, and it's like, oh, we're in the future and it's spooky and it's horror. What are our enemies? And they're space zombies.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I think Calypso Protocol especially, a lot of them didn't really mutate nearly as much as the necromorphs from Dead
goopy.
Space.
They're just goopy people.
It sounds like a really good system that would get involved with the game you're talking about. Would be you remember the Nemesis system from
Oh, that's not something I've thought about in years, but yes.
That's cool, actually. Yeah,
because I mean, your interactions with the elites and the grunts, they have personalities. So I mean, if you're interacting with any of them, it would be very minimal interactions, and you probably would have a lot of room for error trying to take them down. So if you fail, you could easily have the Nemesis system involved in that game, where you definitely like that. The system itself livened up the Shadow of Mordor games immensely.
Absolutely. It's the whole reason why that game even succeeded in the first place. Let's be real, because it's really just Arkham gameplay.
That's the only interesting part of it, to be honest.
That's not to say Arkham gameplay is bad. It's just, we've seen it before.
Just kind of dated by the time it came out, sort of thing. For another quick aside, look where the Arkham devs are now.
For Arkham or Gotham Knights or whatnot?
No. Suicide Squad
Oh, right.
kills the Justice League.
We
Did you
tore
see
Mike a new one on this.
Did you see they did their full gameplay reveal for it? Did you see what it was, Mike?
My brother mentioned that, but I didn't see it. No.
What was it?
It's a looter shooter.
Oh, right.
It's
Yeah,
a-
we did talk about this. Yeah.
But they showed off at like a state of play. They showed off here's 15 minutes of like Suicide Squad kills the Justice League. And it's a looter shooter. It's like you shoot things and then big numbers come out and then each one of your guns has numbers. Numbers.
God damn it. Oh, yeah, well, then it's not on my list.
And so,
Sorry, Mike. I'm so sorry.
And playing my little violin.
Yeah, the world's smallest violin.
Yeah. Gentlemen,
Well.
it has been a pleasure playing with you.
Mike, do you think something like the Nemesis system would work in like an Assassin's Creed game?
Yes,
That'd be cool.
absolutely. Absolutely, that would be amazing in an Assassin's Creed game. Oh my god. Oh my, like you have all these high profile, like Assassin's Creed 2 where you try to assassinate the Pope. Like imagine having a tiered system where you have to actually get to him, kind of like in Shadow of Mordor, where you have to take out the papals. I'm not too good with the rank structure of the Catholic Church.
You mean the Cardinals?
Yes, the Cardinals. So imagine like you have to take out the certain Cardinals, but obviously you have to make it through their. I think it would work better if the guards were more tied into the Nemesis system, whereas because your main targets, I mean, they gotta die either way, but the guards being the ones defending them in their combat, changing as you damage them and fuck them up a little bit. Maybe you throw some fire in one guy's face or some acid. Who knows?
The whole bit where you could have your orcs betray leader orcs. It could be like you're infiltrating the ranks with fellow initiates and assassins.
Corrupt guards that would turn on them in the face. Like, hey man, you want to be the leader of the, I don't know, of like your section of men? Well, you help me take out your boss.
The Guardia Pontifica Svizzera. The Pontifical Swift Guard. Ideally, the next Assassin's Creed would not have the Catholic Church as the antagonist. That'd be kind of cool.
Has been done to death, hasn't it?
Catholic says the enemy is like, damn, kind of been done to death. Yeah. It's time for Anglicans. You kill King Henry VIII.
Henry VIII, he's had it good for far too long.
You kill him with your like assassin's blade thing or whatever, and you don't kill him because he's so fat. Like your finger blade isn't even long enough to puncture any organs.
He's like the English version of Dong Zhuo.
Yeah. Or Baron Harkonnen.
Oh yeah.
Oh god. Oh hey, that's a movie that's coming out this year.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
It is a good movie. I actually can't wait.
Hopefully, anyways.
I can't wait to see the assault on the castle with the worms. Oh, it's gonna be tight.
Oh, worm.
I hope. Worm dog.
The Shai Hulud, my guy.
Yeah, Shai Hulud.
If they don't have a reference to Shai Hulud metal band, I riot.
I love that. Anyway, we done with this subject, fellas?
I believe so, unless.
Oh yeah, I'm good.
Okay, well, in that case, I think we should head over to our second news topic for today, which, if I could get it on here, I don't really have it. I don't have a news subject for it, but in terms of television and gaming, this is kind of coming together. The Fallout TV series being developed at Amazon has wrapped filming very recently. Apparently there was a wrap party that kind of, basically they're like, oh, we're done filming, here's a little Vault Boy sort of thing. But
they invited the Rap Rat.
Yeah, Rat and the Santa Bunny and the Rap Santa Bunny. I apologize to the audience, because unless you're like 5 people, you're not going to know what the hell we're talking about.
And those 5 people better be watching. We know who you are.
Exactly.
Yeah, we know who you are. All right, I'm going to put it on to the...
Because this, I did not know about this until you mentioned it before we started recording.
Yeah?
Yeah, no, I didn't either.
Hey.
And then these are
wow,
kind
set
of like
pics.
set leaks from the set. And to be honest, I'm going to be like, I don't know anything about the story.
Oh, wow.
I don't know anything that. But as far
Nice
as set photos and what they look like, it don't look too bad.
They got the look down.
This
They
looks
got the
alright.
look down.
Okay.
It doesn't look cheap.
Can I be honest?
Go ahead.
The photos of the actual characters. I don't know if you guys have been getting flooded with some of that AI art recently. I certainly have, and it looks like it just looks like placeholders for like 80s. What if this game or movie was in the 80s setting and AI
there's been
art.
like a ton of those as of late. Ugh.
It looks exactly like that kind of AI art to me.
But it
Let's see
looks
these
like a
characters.
person. It doesn't look like an AR art. These
So
are
the
just
second
clearly
photo-
extras. These are just
The
extras.
second photo of that guy. Well, I know. I'm just saying, like the way the photo is taken. It's I don't know. Maybe I've just seen too many of
That's-
these art styles.
Maybe you're
but
their
poisoned.
camera.
Your
It's
brain
their
is
camera.
poisoned. It's just the
Don't
camera,
get me wrong,
how it's
it looks
done.
cool.
Because these are sets photos, right? So it's somebody trying to sneak a picture
yeah.
and not
When they shouldn't be. Yeah.
when they shouldn't be type of thing.
I'm not shitting on it by any means. More just it activated those little neurons in my brain that went, wait, is this
Yeah.
real?
Your unmedicated schizophrenia is starting to come out.
Yeah, exactly.
We've
AI
gone
has
over this
caused me to
before.
be
He might have some
schizophrenic.
demons.
Well, I got demons. I quelled them with liquor.
Yeah, but they can swim.
Calm down, Max Payne. Calm down.
Yeah. But a couple things to note here is that I assume this is Vault 33 because that's what the jumpsuit says.
Yeah.
And this is the Vault
And the wall.
In the vault picture, it says Vault 32.
Vault 32.
Yeah, if you go to the set picture, the first one, like you see the column, there's a number 32.
Oh, maybe they go to a different vault. Because in the first set of images, it shows Vault 33 jumpsuit.
Oh, I see. Okay, I see now.
But even if it was Vault 32 or Vault 33, regardless, those two, I think up until like 34, all those vaults are on the West Coast. And that's kind of doubly reiterated by the New California Republic flag in the, I think it's a classroom in one of the photos there. So, yeah, it seems the series is going to be in the West Coast. But yeah, I don't really know what it's all about. But as far as set design goes, it looks faithful. And then the final and last one there is just them making power armor.
Yeah.
And the power armor, it looked huge, like it should, because power armor is huge.
Yeah.
So it's looking pretty good. I will have this down in the description for people to enjoy. Or if you're listening to this on Spotify, then I'm sorry, but wah, wah.
go to the YouTube
Go
channel.
to YouTube.
Boost the views.
And look at, go to YouTube and look at it like a normal person, you filthy animal.
Oh yeah, hey, even the nursery says Vault 32. So yeah, maybe.
Yeah, but
Ooh. We'll
But
get
it's
to
looking
season
like-
There
three.
could be two different
these
sets.
ones-
They could
it must be two different sets.
The outside world can never hurt you. Okay. I disagree.
It's very much faithful to the art style that was generated in Fallout 4 and 76. So it's
Yeah.
that look to it, which is not surprising.
Oh, you mean that's based on Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 3, which is based on Fallout 1 and 2?
Okay,
that aesthetic?
okay.
I think that was
calm down
developed
now.
during the 50s, and it's called Atom Punk.
All right, listen here.
Okay.
I don't know how to feel about this photo of the Pip Boy having.
It has like
It looks like
has
it's
a
straight from the
level.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Status special, what your
special.
damage is, your armor, fucking radiation protection.
Data, radio.
Like, it's
Radio
all
makes sense.
exactly pulled from the game. Like it
Yeah.
straight up looks like someone just took a screenshot of the game, put it on a little phone, and slapped it in one of those what little like pre-order special wristbands.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
Oh,
that
yeah,
is
those
exactly
goofy
what it is. Which begs
to
the question as to
play-
how that's going to work in this universe, but whatever.
Yeah, how are they gonna have the VAT system?
If I recall, VAT system is I don't remember. Never mind.
Probably like an adrenaline rush sort of deal. They'll probably go Matrix bullet time mode.
Well, it's supposed to be vault assisted, so if anything, it's just like an AI telling you where to shoot, and that's supposed to be how it works.
But
that actually be kind of cool if it like controls your arm. Then it like forces them to make the shot in the right way.
I'm not sure if it like forces them, but it just tells you kind of where you should be aiming to increase your odds of hitting the person with all these extraneous factors.
I'm just trying to imagine how they do it in the movie. Like, is either going to be Buddy looking at his wrist, aiming blindly, or
maybe.
I think they'll probably go like some way of it being like it just injects them full of some chemicals that'll slow down time to like a bullet, like kind of like Wanted, where they can control their adrenaline and then get that shot off. Better.
Yeah, fair enough.
I don't know. The time you were saying you wanted to play devil's advocate, I kind of stepped on you there. Sorry.
Oh, no worries. The only thing I was going to say, playing devil's advocate, is that this just might be a what's called an action prop, so to speak, where like action props are a lot more less detailed. Like this isn't your. Oh boy, I apologize for the audience. I don't remember the technical term for a prop that you have like on camera that's supposed to be like manipulated and shot at.
How do you not know?
Yeah, I bet my more talented other panelists would know exactly what kind of filmmaking term that is.
Oh, of course I know. It's the Semper Tyrannis.
Something like that. But anyway, yeah, like action props are they're like less detailed, which this kind of looks kind of less detailed. They're less detailed, and for something like that, where the screen, it might just be like something like that, where it's like, just take it from the game and put it on there, just quickly, just to show something. Because this might be on somebody's arm, like when they're running. Like it's an action shot, they're running or whatever. And this will be playing, and it's like, yeah, if they're running and it's that sort of shot, the audience, we're not going to be looking exactly at this. But it could also be, it's also Fallout. Fallout is also very tongue-in-cheek, very silly. So if there was a sort of almost kind of fourth wall gamification of that in that show, I wouldn't be too surprised. Like even if they had the special system in some way.
I hope they don't go too silly with it. Like, don't get me wrong, this looks interesting. This Buddy at the last photo where the two people are talking, Buddy looks like he's about to tell you about a settlement that needs your help.
It kind of does.
He's straight up, I can't remember the guy's name, but
Preston Harvey or something. Preston Garvey.
Preston Garvey.
Preston Garvey, that's right.
He looks exactly like Preston Garvey in a Vault 33 suit, and it's just hurting my brain.
All people with a cowboy hat in the 23rd century are Preston Garvey.
That's right. Yeah. This is known. They're either Preston Garvey or they're Easy Pete, or not Easy Pete.
Easy Pete. Stop. Look at him go.
Prospector Pete.
Let him go.
But
well, I'm wondering what they're gonna kind of go with this. Like, are they gonna go serious action drama? Are they gonna go kind of comedy level? I wonder what they're gonna do.
Of both.
Have to take a bit of a comedic route. It's not like The Last of Us. It's not all doom and gloom.
Yeah,
there's a bit of brevity to it.
Yeah. I've actually fallen behind on that show. I kind of stopped watching after, I think it was the third episode, right around the time that they got trapped in the city.
I would say hold that for a bit, because that segues very neatly into our second topic.
All right. We'll hold off.
Because our second topic, which is the one suggested by Mike, which is, let me pull it up. Sorry. The gist of it is video game franchises turned into movies. So like movie tie-ins of video game franchises or television tie-ins of video game franchises, and how some of them are starting to be not so bad. And why some of them aren't so bad, why back in the day some of them were really bad, and so on. And that's kind of the gist of it. But Mike, yeah, you take it away.
Well, my main theory on that, on like why they were bad and why they were kind of good, like I think we are all familiar with, I'm sure I'm pronouncing this incredibly wrong, Boll.
Boll.
Yeah, Boll.
What a legend.
Like, that man has made everything from Far Cry to Postal. Now, the Postal movie is actually pretty good from what I understand. I have yet to watch it. But like, those movies were just someone taking the world of these movies and injecting their own little vision into it. Same with the Mila Jovovich Resident Evil movies.
Well, the Paul Wes Anderson movies.
Paul Wes Anderson, right? She's married to him, correct?
Yes,
Not anymore.
that's why he's in all his movies.
There you go. Fair enough. Nepotism at its best. Yeah. But it's to the same. It stayed true to some Resident Evil formula by injecting the characters, like Jill Valentine in that movie resembled Jill Valentine in the games, but that was kind of about where it ended, just on physical appearance. Characters were never acted the same. They had a great blueprint at the very least for these movies or for the games, but they don't even bother to follow them. Whereas now we're seeing a lot more of these studios say we're going to stay as true to the form as we can. The Last of Us, the opening for The Last of Us, if you haven't seen it but have played the game, it is a 1-to-1 recreation almost.
Oh yeah, it's pretty damn close.
It's damn good. Like it's still made me like well up when his daughter gets it. Like fucking. Spoilers, I guess. His daughter gets shot at the beginning. And that still made me tear up for a bit in the movie and TV show. So it's still able to have that. I
can't believe you spoiled an almost 10-year-old game. How dare you?
Well, that's it. 10-year-old game.
That's been remade like 5 times.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, I don't know if I was a little hesitant like whether or not I should care for the spoiler warning, but why not? There's probably someone out there who might bitch about it. But I find that people are starting to realize that if they stay true to the original vision of the game, they don't mess with it, they're going to please the fans, and they're going to invite a lot of people that won't play the game but will enjoy the story. And I think that's why they're starting to become a bit more successful, as they realize that the stories don't need to be meddled with. They just need a different medium to attract more viewers.
Okay. It's interesting because I remember there being a lot of arguments years ago as to why these video game movies fail, and it's because one of the core draws of video games in general is interactivity, and it's the fact that you're essentially either living or you are creating your own story in this medium, and how that's lost when it gets translated to the big screen or even just to television. But now with these more recent projects, The Last of Us, now Fallout, I might have even heard a rumor about Hogwarts Legacy getting its own show through HBO. I don't know how that's going to work on HBO of all things. And then even like video game movies, for example, the Uncharted movie, the Sonic the Hedgehog movies, and then there's that one Pokemon one years ago. Not groundbreaking in any stretch of the imagination, but competent movies. So I think it's just because we now have a proper respect for this medium in the wider Hollywood now has a greater respect for these mediums, mainly because they make a ton of money, and they're getting properly competent writers and directors to actually do them justice.
I'm glad you brought up Sonic the Hedgehog and Uncharted, because those two I was going to touch about a little bit later. But very good examples of done right and done mediocre. Uncharted, yes. When it was released, and people had so many gripes about Mark Wahlberg playing Sully. It's like, oh great, he's not going to play him well at all. He's just going to be another Boston man out of place. Mm-hmm. And that's pretty much what it was. And I can't remember the actor's name. And not Andrew Garfield. What's his name? Tom Holland.
Tom Holland.
Thank you. Tom Holland as Nathan Drake. And that just broke a lot of people's immersion for, no, that's not Nathan Drake. That is a child. That is a high schooler. Now, if we're going to give like young Nathan Drake, sure, I guess that kind of works, but no one really wants the origin story, especially when you're going to throw in all these callbacks to his later adventures, like the plane scene and etc.
That's fair.
You know why they put Marky Mark in?
Was that?
I'm assuming for name recognition.
No. You know how tall Tom Holland is?
No.
Not very.
He's not very tall. You know how tall Marky Mark is?
Not very.
Not very. So they got them both together so you could shoot a scene where they look like they're the same height and they're tall when they're really not.
God. God, that's
funny.
stupid.
That's
a stupid reason. That's what I think. Like, there is a fan made fucking kind of like a little episode of Nathan Drake's adventure that exists out there, and it's Nathan Fillion as Nathan Drake, and goddamn, does he do an amazing job. He is quippy. He's pretty much the human personification of Nathan Drake. Just playing Nathan Fillion for anything that he's been in. If you've seen anything that man has been in, whether it be Castle, Firefly, he's just quippy Nathan Drake in all of these. So it did very well. Because kind of like how you bring in Chris Hemsworth to play Thor, because he kind of looks the part. Same with Chris. There's a lot of Chris's in Marvel. Oh my god.
Yeah, the Hollywood Christmas.
I can't remember the one who plays Captain America, but very much gives off the personification of Captain America. Now you have Sonic the Hedgehog, where there was so much outrage over its character design as well, but this one I'll give more leniency to because it's an animated movie. You can change that stuff on the fly. It's going to take more time and budget, but it's a lot easier than saying, hey, Mark Wahlberg, you're an absolutely trash Sully. We need to recast you and spend all this time reshooting. Very hard to do. I understand the difficulties there, but one group listened to fans and changed their product, whereas another group, when it was the original casting was released, the fans were pretty much outraged and said, kick rocks, kids. So I think the respect to the fandom is also what's leading to a surge in profits for some of these movies, because Sonic the Hedgehog did very well. It was very well received.
Oh, it's fantastic.
The Sonic the Hedgehog 2 was pretty damn good. I enjoyed it. I'm not gonna say it was anywhere near as good as the first one, but still pretty good. Idris Elba as Knuckles is pretty laughable. He's a pretty funny guy in the role.
Robotnik is what stole it.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Jim Carrey's Robotnik.
Oh my god, Jim Carrey is just so eccentric. He plays it so well. I didn't know I needed a high energy ADHD Robotnik until he showed up, and it's just amazing.
It's always been Robotnik. Yeah. You have to have the high energy.
Yeah. You would know if you weren't Snoop Pingas usual. I see.
Yes.
Pingas.
He needs to be happy and jolly because everyone knows happiness is always more enjoyable through the misery of millions.
That's right. I completely forgot about the old, was it like the 90s Sonic the Hedgehog with him in The Adventures of Sonic and Tails? Oh god. What was it? Sonic, we just call it Sonic AM. Fucking, you guys remember that one where Sonic was a resistance fighter?
There was one that was super serious, and that one sucks. And there was one that was not serious that they make all the YTPs out of, and that's the good one.
They made a few serious ones. They had Sonic Underground, which was it was a good little fill your morning. It was a good fill your morning. The music was cringe, but it was a good enough show for me. I enjoyed it as a kid. But Sonic AM
he's one of those kids.
Was one of those. One of them. I was one of them dark, edgy kids.
Yeah. He played Shadow the Hedgehog unironically.
Ooh.
You know what? I actually did, and I tried my best to get every ending.
Why are you like
this? It was so funny. No, the cringe. I was very aware that everything that Shadow was saying was cringe and just edgy for the sake of it, and it was hilarious to me. Shadow the Hedgehog is a fantastic comedy game to me.
Mike, what are you doing? Stop.
Whoa, Shadow, we're on your side.
Whoa, Shadow, they're on our side. Stop.
God damn it, Andrew, you do such a good Sonic.
Where's that damn Chaos Emerald?
That's right, where's that damn Chaos Emerald? Every time he falls, damn, not here.
God damn. And that game sucks so bad. Funny, there's a friend of ours in the Discord that is currently getting every single ending through Shadow the Hedgehog, and
good.
If you're listening to this, which you're not,
it's so good.
I'm so sorry, but we'll keep watching. We'll keep watching. Also, next run should be ending 288.
Oh my god! Why?
We need a Shadow the Hedgehog too, even edgier. I will buy it. I will play the shit out of it.
But
oh my goodness!
To get back to video game franchise movies and stuff like that.
Right. That's what we're on.
Is that back in the day, well, one, like, video game franchise movies were cheap because video games wasn't as big as a medium as it is now. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's so hard to believe, but video games is the largest, like, media-based economy in the world. Like,
Easily believable.
Video games very, like, easily outclass cinema, books, comic books, everything else. Like, video games is the biggest. It brings in the most amount of money and the most amount of various different things. Back in the day, you would have a video game tie-in movie or show to get more people, usually to buy like toys or other things, other sorts of merchandise that was associated with the game or the property.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Now it's almost the opposite, where like you would make a movie to get people to play the game, so to speak. And so I think with this Fallout show, now don't quote me on it, but I think with the Fallout show, we're going to see some sort of tie-in product to go along with it. Not necessarily with the show, but we might see a remaster of like Fallout 3 or New Vegas come along to tie in with it. Just to go like, you saw the show, well now here's some of the games, sort of type of thing.
Okay.
But as for the successes of some new things, because on the whole, I would say that video game movies are still, they're kind of hit or miss in my opinion, and a lot of people have been saying a lot of great stuff about The Last of Us. Now, for the record, to the audience out there, I friggin' hate The Last of Us. I hate that freaking game so bad. I hate it because I don't like anything that is so miserably nihilistic. Like, shows like that or games like that just annoy me to the moon and back. So, like,
even if it's got Pedro Pascal?
Oh, yeah, even if it has recently minted Estonian citizen Pedro Pascal.
Is that legit?
No.
Oh.
No, it's not.
I was wondering, but I just couldn't.
No, it's
I
real.
never know with
It's
you guys.
real, Andrew. He's no longer a Chilean citizen, thankfully.
Okay.
Now he's an Estonian. He posted, he said Paglione Esti, which means Happy Independence Day, Estonia. Loosely. The Estonians, don't come after me, okay? Sit down. For that direct translation. But anyways, I don't really like that show or that game because one, it's so nihilistic, and two, and this is kind of the bigger one, it's another movie game. It's another Sony movie game. And you know why that show is doing so well? Because it's already a TV show.
Yeah.
It's already a TV show. You could take the cutscenes 1-to-1 and you would change nothing. Absolutely nothing.
As I said, they changed very little with the intro beyond giving a bit more backstory on the day of the outbreak, and it literally did one for one, and it still worked.
they do expand on the outbreak a bit more.
Like I said, all they're really doing right now is they're realizing, we don't have to change much. We just have to reach the target audience that won't play these games but will still enjoy the story. And
that is a very good point, actually. Huh.
Oh.
That's exactly what it is.
Like my mother would never. So my mother would never play the game, but she is enjoying the show. She even texted me saying, "Have you been checking out this Last of Us show?" I played the game like 10 years ago when it came out.
I watched that show 10 years ago. And the show
I know how it's going to end too.
Oh, by the way, your favorite character, he gets beat up by a club. A golf club.
That's right. Uh-oh. Tom, you spoiled it for all the people who are just watching the show.
Pedro Pascal dies to a golf club. He gets hit in the head with a ball club. But, yeah, that
I
one's...
still have not played Last of Us 2 for that.
Oh.
Honestly, don't. For that subversion alone. Don't
give Neil Druckmann all of your money. Matter of fact, don't give him any of your money. Don't even touch him. If he comes to you begging for money, you slap him.
What did Neil Druckmann ever do to deserve this?
He created Last of Us 2.
He made Emmy Henning leave Naughty Dog. He literally.
She was one of the main writers, wasn't she?
Oh crap!
Yeah,
I forgot
she
about
wrote
that.
all the good. Yeah. She wrote all the good Uncharted games and wrote way better games. She wrote like Soul Reaver, like Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver.
Okay,
tons of classic stuff.
Unforgivable.
There's a bit of like rumor kind of spreading around online that this show is essentially Neil Druckmann's original like unfettered version of what this game would have been if he had full access like he did in Last of Us 2 apparently, because they gave him a lot more freedom for that game. And
if I recall, he already had full access for The Last of Us 1.
Well, now he has even more.
From what I understand, he had a lot of pushback in the first game from a lot of the. Was it writers or I can't remember, but from what I understand, in the first game he had a lot of pushback. Sorry?
He's the one that wrote it.
He had a team, didn't he? Hold on.
I sure hope not.
He still made changes to this show. It's not.
Yeah.
It does follow a lot of the same beats, but it's not 1-to-1.
Yeah. I will say I did enjoy freaking the second episode, but it had nothing to do with like that. Could have been its own show with what was it? What's his name? He plays Ron Swanson.
Bill and Frank.
The Bill and Frank episode. Like, if they had just created a show about that from The Last of Us and like just their survival, I'd watch that. Honestly,
I wouldn't, because it would say The Last of Us on it. I'd be like.
It'd be a Last of Us story.
Last of Us. I wouldn't be the Last of Us out of that theater because I wouldn't be in there.
In that episode, there weren't any zombies. It was just raiders. It was the end of the world. It was just martial law had come. That didn't need to be a Last of Us show. It could have just been its own. So
rude of you to call them zombies. They're called clickers. They're mushroom people.
No,
had too many mushrooms.
The clickers are just for the third stage in their evolution. You would know this if you had played the game.
Nerds, a lot of us.
I willingly spread misinformation because I hate this series.
Oh, gotcha. In that case, Tom was correct. I'm actually incorrect in that regard.
Yeah.
Please disregard everything I say. I am spreading misinformation. I am a disgusting liar.
Yeah.
I will say there is a distinct lack of infected for a majority of the show. Now, I know in the more recent episodes, they're not really in cities, so I guess that's sort of to be expected, but
they changed it around, so like instead of there being like a gaseous spore like fog, they're all like interconnected like a hive mind, and it's the reason I stopped kind of watching it was Ellie is I don't know. They ran into some clickers and everyone's just handling it way too calmly. Like I'm watching like this should be a high tense scenario, and instead it just feels like a chase scene from Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, we can't have our high-played actors in gas masks that might hide their beautiful faces, right, Mandalorian?
I was about to say, Mandalorian is so. The first episode, you guys seen the new first episode?
Yeah, we'll get to that later.
We'll get to that later.
We'll talk about it because I have some things to say about that show.
Oh my.
Anyway,
it was okay.
Back to.
Yeah. And in summary, but basically, I think a lot of people are listening to. So not listening, but they're more just not changing anything about the original vision, and they're reaching an audience that they know won't play the game but needs that story that exists, and they're handpicking games that have, like you said, already movies as they begin with. Anything by Naughty Dog.
Well, they know if they change too much now, there is a sizable audience of people who will.
Oh yeah, social media has played a huge role now. The fact that we can openly shame these productions for being bad and forcing them to make changes by just sheer public opinion. Don't get me wrong, that's good. Power to the people, always. But
I'm gonna have the opinion that the best video game movie ever made was an Boll movie. Ooh. And it was the Postal movie. Because the Postal movie is genuinely awful. It's trash. But there is no other. No, it's so bad it's beautiful. That's how.
It's so bad that it's bad.
It's beautiful. It's a masterpiece. There is no other video game movie that gets the tone of the video game more than Postal does. At all. Also, I love Uwe Boll. To go into a short, really Uwe Boll aside, you know why he made so many just trash movies in general? No offense, Uwe Boll. Your movies aren't trash. I understand that if I say that they're trash, I am legally obligated to fight you in the boxing ring, and you're really good at boxing.
Right. He'll kick your ass.
Your movies are really good. The funny thing is I would love to hang out with him.
Oh, yeah.
But I would never say that their movies are bad to his face. But
no.
In Germany, up until very recently, which is also the reason he stopped making movies, is that the German government would match 50% of the budget of your production if you made a movie in Germany. So all those like Uwe Boll production movies of video game movies, including Postal, were all done in Germany because the German government would literally fund half of your movie just to have it filmed there.
They're all tax breaks.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why like if you ever sit through the credits of a movie, you'll be like, oh, this movie was part of the like Quebec, Alabama, French, Danish, like every single tax break that you can, and they'll film just a little bit in those countries so they could get those tax breaks, because lots of countries provide sizable tax breaks to your film if you film them there. Not tax breaks, but what are they called?
Contributions?
Yeah, contributions, something like that.
They're grants.
Grants, thank you. Yeah, grants. The government of Alberta gives grants to people that film there. That's why there's lots of films and TV shows that get filmed in Alberta.
That's why The Last of Us is filmed
actually,
there.
Yeah, I've noticed a few landmarks from Calgary.
I actually tried to apply to be an extra a couple years ago.
Oh, no kid.
Yeah, I got a call back. They said, we're going to upload you and see what happens. And then I never heard from them again. So they got my hopes up for nothing.
Well,
Oh my.
maybe next season.
Yeah,
Maybe next season.
We'll see which one of us gets into a film first. If it's which one of us gets into a game first, well, oops, sorry, buddy, beat you to that one.
Yeah, you've already won.
My voice acting is already up there. But
what was that wonderful title again?
we don't talk about it.
No. I think we should talk about it.
No, Hunt Down the Tommen. V dubs Hunt Down the Tommen.
That's right.
But
Beautiful.
and then a few projects that I'm also working on with some friends that have been unreleased that I also lend my voice work to.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned, maybe, if they ever get released, but we'll see. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's like, I think as video games get bigger and bigger and bigger, you're gonna see more crossover, not crossover, but like video game adaptations or film and TV adaptations of video game franchises that are going to be of varying quality. I hope the Fallout one is pretty good because I like shows or adaptations of properties that have to do nothing with like a mainline property. And Fallout's pretty good for that because you could just set it somewhere. In this case, set it on the West Coast, but it doesn't have to be in Boston. It doesn't have to be in DC. It doesn't have to be in North or South Cali. It doesn't have to be... Tactics, I think, was in Chicago. But it doesn't have to be in any of those places. You could set it wherever you want, have its own self-contained story. And if it just kind of basically follows the little rule guide of the universe, then you're good to go. So I hope that show is not too bad.
Well, it's funny you mentioned the whole rule guide of the universe. I feel like they almost can't set it in areas we've already seen in games because there will be lore fanatics, and of which there are a ton for old franchises like Fallout.
You slap them.
That will criticize every decision you make if it doesn't line up like beat for beat, minute by minute, second by second.
They've already done that a million
events.
times, and Bethesda goes, "Oh yeah, me no care."
Yeah, that's fair enough.
I want, Fallout 76 takes place 20 years after the bombs dropped? Oh, you mean the Brotherhood started off on the West Coast? Well, I want them in West Virginia. How are we going to do it? Yeah, we'll just hand wave it. Don't worry about it. And that's basically how it's going to go. The lore people, aka people like me, See, I'm self-aware. I know they're already going to do what they want to do with it. So it's just like, if they do something dumb, it's like, oh, whatever. It's the same with like Star Wars, where it's just like, hey, wasn't in Legends this thing? And I'm like, it was in Legends, doesn't exist anymore. Shut up, bozo.
That's right. God, I gotta love when people insist that Legends is just superior. I mean, sure, there were probably good stories, probably great stories, but are we seriously gonna suggest that such a variety of wide-ranging stories that span several years are all absolutely stellar?
My understanding of like extended Star Wars canon is pretty minimal, but I understand it got pretty fucking crazy later on. Like Chewbacca gets crushed by a moon at some point.
What the heck?
But, yeah, like, it gets really, really crazy apparently later on. It got a little out of hand. I do kind of wish they'd kept some stuff though.
I'm a huge enjoyer of Star Wars: The Old Republic. The lore in that game gets stupid. It gets stupid.
No, Tom. You are the Old Republic fan. I am the High Republic enjoyer.
Oh, I still have known nothing of the High Republic because they're like,
no, I know nothing at all.
They're like, oh,
no
well,
clue.
You could read the books and read these comics, and I'm like, read comics? Who reads comics these days, apart from Andrew? And if you're watching this show, Ethan, I know you eat that shit up. Shit with a capital S.
Oh my god! Oh, I had to call him out like that.
But yeah, I love you, Ethan. You should be on the show one of these days. We'd love to have you. But yeah, I can't be asked to read these comics and read these books. In terms of the books, probably one day, because their audiobooks are really good, and that's how I listen to my literature. But
see, I'm waiting for a good quality audiobook of the Thrawn trilogy to be released.
They already are.
YouTube.
Oh, on YouTube? Get it on audio. Get it on Audible. Yeah. Literally just use my account. I got like which Timothy's on Thrawn trilogy, the new one? Or like the original, the old one. Oh, they're both original. They're both on Audible. And they're both really good.
Yeah, it was bad.
So I just listened to. I found the Dune audiobook on YouTube, and it was very good. It actually made me want to go back and read the book, which I did twice.
Is that the one where they have several people voicing the different characters?
Yes, and it is fantastic.
It's like an audio drama at that point.
Yeah, it was amazing. It made me love audiobooks. I was kind of a proponent for reading, but now you know what, audiobooks is kind of maybe the way to go.
I like audiobooks because I like the concept of like radio plays or audio dramas. So, somebody telling me a story, I always kind of find to be more interesting than just kind of reading it myself. But that's
well, and they usually throw in some ambience to it to kind of help set the mood. It just usually helps you picture everything a lot better.
That's how stories were delivered in prehistory. So there might be there might honestly be an evolutionary thing for it at this point.
Audiobooks are the new bards.
Yeah.
yeah. Anyways, fellas, are we done with this topic for now?
Oh, yeah.
Guess to cap it off, as per usual, we're going to talk about, to end it off, we're talking about what we've been watching, what we've been playing lately. So, Mike, you take it away.
Well, what I've been playing recently, let's go through my little library here real quick. Because I've been kind of jumping between games. I started recently replaying Lost Planet 2. I only made it to about a third of that game and realized there's no real music involved in the gameplay. The gameplay is stiff and the controls are garbage.
It's Lost Planet.
Lost Planet, it's like the story was interesting the first game, don't get me wrong, it was a very good game. But actually, Tom, you'll be quite pleased to know I've started playing Death Stranding.
I saw that. And I'm like, oh my god, my Kojima Kino.
And quite honestly, Low Roar is probably the best thing that this game has introduced me to.
It is? Well, I knew Low Roar.
Well, we know it from the trailers, but...
Yeah, and that's how I got to know Low Roar. And then I love that music and I enjoyed it. And then playing Death Stranding, it's like, oh my god, this is so perfect.
Just that opening cinematic shot to Don't Be So Serious and just blew me away. The game, the atmosphere of the game is fantastic. The visuals are pretty stunning, and just running around delivering packages is oddly therapeutic.
It's therapeutic. That's all I try to explain to people about that game. Like, why do you like that game? It's like, because it's therapeutic. I can relax.
Genuinely is.
It has.
I mean, you're relaxed until the BTs show up, and then it's just, oh my god, my heart just goes freaking nuts.
That in and of itself is also therapeutic to me. That is like, it's like Stalker or survival horrors to me. Not quite the same. It's a different type of therapy, but like
it's that
Stalker,
adrenaline dump.
yeah, it's that like those highs and those lows of like high intensity and then release. Of like that's what like Stalker and survival horror is to me. Death Stranding is more like low, like okay, calm down, and then eventually high intensity, keep it in, and then release. It's wonderful.
No, you sure this isn't a euphemism for something else, Tom?
No, I'm not French.
No, gotcha.
Oh, jeez. Well, Andrew will appreciate my second game. I've been playing SimCity 2000.
Ooh, that's a classic.
I've been quite enjoying it. The Future Cities package is pretty astounding. So I've been enjoying the heck out of that. I probably got about 3 cities on the go right now.
I gotta get back into Cities Skyline. I think they just released a new pack.
See, I was dabbling in whether or not to start City Skyline again or go for something new. I decided SimCity was going to be the better option because I've never experienced it before. Well, I'm quite enjoying it though right now, and I'm not really watching anything too recently. I guess.
No, you're watching The Last of Us, but we talked about that.
I was watching The Last of Us, and then I tried to watch. What was it? Children of Orbit or something like that. It was a really cheesy and really just bad anime that was on Netflix.
I don't know that one.
Oh, cheesy and bad anime? No. Sorry, you're gonna have to be more specific than that.
Yeah. Wow, daring today, aren't we?
There's some kid stuck in a space station or something, and the space station gets hit.
Are you sure you just weren't watching Mobile Suit Gundam?
No, I wish I was watching Mobile Suit Gundam.
Sorry, not Mobile Suit Gundam. Gundam Seed?
Gundam Sneed?
Gundam Seed is terrible. I think we can all agree.
Gundam Sneed and then Gundam Sneed Destiny. Oh boy. That's another topic for another day.
Yeah. Oh, actually, you know what? I have watched the new episode of The Mandalorian.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, yes.
I watched that yesterday.
Yes.
I have gripes. I have complaints. Damn it! I'm here to file one right now.
File it. I haven't seen it yet. I don't care. File it.
Jon Favreau and what's the other guy's name? Help me out, Tom.
Dave Filoni.
Dave Filoni. These guys, I swear to God, between seasons, all they are doing is playing Edge of the Empire and saying, "Yep, that'll make a good episode," and it's all just fetch quests.
Yeah, this like premiere, as far as premiere episodes go, is a pretty weak one. It's like been a couple years since The Mandalorian. It's been, I think, a year and a bit since Book of Boba Fett. And so they got to reestablish what the hell's going on, and they didn't really do that really well. It's just like as Schmando walking up to Navarro, seeing Grief Karga, aka Carl Weathers. It's like, yo, what you been up to? Wow, this city's really nice. And it's like, yeah, I've been I'm city guy now. I was like, okay, cool. Yeah. See ya. And then goes to the Mandalorians, and it's just like, hey, nice gator. You want me to kill it? It's like, yeah, thank you for killing that gator. Also, you're not one of us anymore. We're bigoted against you now because you took your helmet off.
So
it's like,
if you haven't been watching like Book of Boba Fett, you'd very much be lost.
Yeah, if the one episode of Book of Boba Fett.
Right.
That's the only, basically to say that like you're not Mandalorian now, get out of here. And then goes up to Bo-Katan at the end. And it's just like, oh, yo, Bo-Katan, what are you doing? Oh, by the way, the planet...
chilling.
This is like a super aside, only enjoyable for my Finno-Ugric enjoyers out there. The planet that Bo-Katan is from, as well as Satine Kryze, which is Bo-Katan's sister, who was the Duchess of Mandalorian Clone Wars, but is called Kalevala, which, if you're Finno-Ugric adjacent, the Kalevala is like the Finnish origin story, like national epic.
Oh, huh.
So it's kind of a weird.
It's like
I don't know
naming
why they
your planet the Gilgamesh or something like that.
Yeah, like the Epic of Gilgamesh or like the Aenid, that sort of stuff, or the Odyssey or that sort of stuff for Finland. That's the Kalevala, or like the Urda for the poetic Edda for like Nordics and stuff like that, or Beowulf.
Yeah.
It's like that for Finland, and so they named the planet after the Finnish Kalevala, which is interesting. I don't know the connection yet, but I will research it. Stay tuned.
I get the feeling they just thought it was cool and something that wasn't been done before.
Which it is kind of a cool name, but anyway, they land there and Bo-Katan is doing her best Jarl Balgruuf impression, and laying down on the chair. And it's just like, yo, Bo-Katan, how you doing? It's like, my entire posse and gang split up 5 minutes after you got the Darksaber. Because I'm not... And it's just like, oh, really? That's it? And then goes, oh, by the way, your Jonestown cultists weren't there when we needed them, so good luck. And then Mando's like, shrugs, and it's like, well, I guess I'll go to Mandalore then. And that's your season opener. And so, like, I mean, it's nice that everybody complains that they use Tatooine too much. So they're like, here's like 5 planets you gotta go to. Here's 5 planets in one episode. It's like, oh, okay. But I think, it's a lot of stuff all at once. And so as a season opener, it's kind of rough.
What it reminds me of is if you've seen the Oralnauts criticism of how it's basically that his entire life is just controlled by an algorithm and he has to keep following that algorithm's will. It makes sense. I think they found that video and just played into it a little too hard.
I haven't seen it yet, so I'll have to look into it.
Oh, you need to watch it. It's too accurate.
And it's probably goofy, but
it's very.
The other thing too with Mandalorian is that I'm gonna be real. Well, to me, like, I enjoyed the episode because if it's Star Wars, it could be the worst slop ever, and as long as it's not Episode 9, I'll eat it like a pig. Just put it in my filthy trowel like an animal, and I'll just eat it.
Checked it right in me.
But for probably most of the other audiences that like Star Wars, we've been we've kind of been spoiled with Andor.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
We got Andor that's like, oh wow, this is an actual like smart show with smart acting, smart writing for like adults in Star Wars.
No, that show's fantastic.
Really well. And it's like
the Empire actually felt deadly and threatening. Mm-hmm. Oh man.
Yeah, the stakes, even though we know exactly where Andor's gonna end up, the stakes were like real, that sort of stuff. And that's good writing. And so The Mandalorian and Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni type stuff, it's on a different level, to be honest. Tony Gilroy is a completely different caliber of like screenwriter and showrunner than Dave Filoni in that. And so it's it's all about expectations, right? Going into those shows. To me, it's like, is Mandalorian going to slip on a banana peel this episode? Oh, he did? And Tom's going to smile and it's like, yeah, that's the Mandalorian, all right. Adds another, like, takes his chalk and marks another, like, mark on the, like, Mando jobs this episode.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's all fetch quests.
Yeah. Life's all fetch quests. It's called money. Go back to your fetch quest. But anyways, Andrew, what have you been playing / watching?
Let's see. What have I been playing? As of late, I've okay. Don't hate me because I'm not paying them money I swear I'm not paying the money. I'm playing their game, but I'm not paying their money. I've been playing a bit of Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, which I know it's Konami. We hate Konami, but so occasionally you gotta get back into that and waste away.
I know so many people that play that game.
I
and
know.
they try to get me to get into it, and
don't.
And I'm like,
don't
no.
get into it.
That's like I'm done with like card games, CCGs or TCGs.
Yes.
I'm
just
done with
don't.
them.
It's
I've
not
been done
worth it.
with them for like 20 years.
It's never worth it. So that, and then actually Bannerlord, because I was curious to see what had changed since their 1.0 release.
Oh, inspired from my top 10.
Yes, inspired from your top 10, exactly. And I mean, they've got mod support now, which is kind of cool, but I haven't really explored that too often. The characters are voiced. Well, not completely voiced, but like they're voiced for their opening lines, which is nifty. Not sure if that was entirely necessary for a game like this, especially if you're just going to do those little one-liners, but you know, it's a nice little touch. My biggest praise for that is that they added proper like pike support, because you can now brace from cavalry charges, and it works. It is glorious. And as soon as they add in like a pike and shot mod, or even just a pike and shot expansion, then I'll probably waste away hours on that.
Yeah.
And then I've been watching stuff a lot more. As far as my brother and I have been kept up to date with Cape Shish and Marvel, which I know we're total plebeians when it comes to media. We watched that new Ant-Man as of late, which was a movie. It was a movie.
I've heard some very mediocre things about it.
Yeah, it's sitting there.
Apparently, every little girl under the age of like 20, I guess not little girl, anyone under the age of 21 is just Tony Stark level genius at this point in these movies.
Yeah.
Apparently, Ant-Man's daughter is like a genius and creates a quantum tunnel or something.
Oh my.
Yep, that's it. That's exactly it.
Yeah. Wasn't she like all about? Wasn't she like 5 years old like 2 movies ago?
Well, yeah, but it's the future now.
Oh right, yeah, the whole they did a time skip thing.
She's girl boss, and don't worry about it.
She's girl boss.
Yeah, so everyone's a girl boss
girl
now,
boss.
even Ant-Man.
She's girl boss, and don't worry about it.
Let's see. Last of Us, we've been kept up to date with, which we're still. It's my brother and I who were watching that one, so we're still enjoying that. We did watch and finish Vox Machina, which I know you're not a huge fan of Critical Role, but I mean, I like listening to Sam Riegel and Liam O'Brien and Matt Mercer and all those voice actors just have fun with their characters. So I do enjoy that. But probably something that I should have watched years ago when it came out, but I've just recently finished, is that HBO miniseries Chernobyl, which is fantastic. Oh my gosh. I don't know why it took me so long.
Such a good horror show.
That is stellar. Absolutely stellar.
Like, it perfectly made radiation some of the scariest shit to me.
Oh my gosh. Oh, some of the I can scarcely imagine what the actual firefighters and first responders and engineers at the plant when the accident happened had to go through and suffer before they pass. Like that is nightmarish.
The 2 scenes that stick with me, one where Buddy just looks up, goes, "Do you taste metal?" Immediately, horror.
Yeah, I know that too. I noticed that too.
And the scene where Buddy had to, he said, "I will do it," and crashed his vehicle through like to test the radiation levels. Some amazingly powerful scenes. That show is amazing. I cannot endorse it enough.
And burying the corpses of people and animals too in concrete. Jeez.
Yeah, the original sarcophagus.
The original sarcophagus.
That was there. I didn't see the old sarcophagus, sadly. By the time I went
just
to
the new one?
Yeah, the new one. I was like, damn. this theme park they made based on that video game is really true to form. That's crazy.
Like, when we're watching that show, we don't have a proper grasp. Like, how big is that thing, Tom?
The NPP?
Yeah.
Pretty big. It's freaking huge.
Sarcophagus?
The new sarcophagus is ginormous. I think it's the biggest domed sort of object like that. I think it's the biggest domed object on the planet.
Jeez.
It's ginormous. Like, it is an entire sarcophagus that goes over the original one, but the amount of concrete in the original sarcophagus is astounding. Like, it's a sizable amount. Like, the NPP, no matter where you are in the exclusion zone, you can see. Like, it's like as if you were, I don't know, like in one part of New York's probably a bad example because there's so many skyscrapers, but like imagine you could see the World Trade Center, so to speak, or like the Empire State Building, or like it's that big. The NPP is that big where you could see it. Like, if you got kind of a clear tree line, you could see it pretty much wherever you are in the zone. Like, you get to the top of some of the buildings. Like, I went to the top of one of the apartment complexes in Pripyat, and it's like you can see it. And this is kilometers and kilometers away, and the new sarcophagus is huge. It's ginormous. The Chernobyl exclusion zone is a location and place that I am so glad that I checked off my bucket list, because I don't know when it's the next time anybody's going to be able to go there for tourism.
No, that's a good point. If
ever. We never know. Because like a good chunk of it's full of landmines now, right?
Yeah.
That, and they've already kicked up a bunch of new radioactive dust.
Oh yeah, because the dumb idiots were trying to build trenches and then got radiation poisoning.
Yep.
But
that was beautiful to read.
Anyway, that all you've been watching, Andrew? We're playing.
Yeah, those are the big things. There's probably a lot of stuff that I've been missing. Just like spend like an hour here or there, but yeah, those are the stuff. Those are the two. Those are the major things that I've been consuming as of late.
Interesting. All right, I guess I'll cap it off. Lately, I've been playing through. I finished playing through Hi-Fi Rush, which earlier in this podcast I sang the praises of, and by the time this podcast comes out, my video will be out on it, which I sang the praises of on it in there. But yeah, that was great. But apart from that, I've been playing through Atomic Heart, that is on Game Pass. I've been playing through that a little bit, and it's okay. It's not bad. It's a very Eastern European game. It's janky.
Yeah.
It's janky. Yeah. It's overambitious, and it's one of those where I appreciate this game for coming out and them trying as hard. I don't know. As I get older, I have a higher appreciation for games that you could tell that the people really tried and still maybe didn't do it right. Like, if I reviewed Mass Effect Andromeda now, I'd probably would give it a bit of a better score, just because it's like you try. I could see you trying in a lot of parts. Like, you actually did try to make it your best, and you just don't have the expertise to do it right. So it's definitely interesting. I'm enjoying it so far. I didn't enjoy it as much as Hi-Fi Rush, but I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it so far. And then I just downloaded today because a bunch of people had been recommending it to me, and it looks like a goofy, fun meme game that I'm starting to see crop up in like YouTube and stuff right now. Is Pizza Tower.
Pizza Tower.
Oh man, nobody knows Pizza Tower. It's basically like not Newgrounds, but it's like you take 90s, late 90s, early 2000s, like animated cartoons, like Ren and Stimpy or like Courage the Cowardly Dog, like that kind of like, or Ed, Ed and Eddie, almost that kind of like animation style, and you make it about a pizzeria, like a pizza maker guy called Peppino, trying to get through these pizza towers, and it's got the gameplay of Wario Land 4 in it. So it's this big it's basically this big giant meme game where it's like Peppino the Pizza Man versus like it's like Pepper Man, and he's a giant bell pepper, and he does that one like he does that like meme scream that's like when you fight him and stuff like that. And so I haven't played it yet, but I saw it.
Like
and
the
I'm
Tom scream, or
the what?
Like the Tom and Jerry scream. That
almost. It's like it's a different kind of scream. I don't know which exact scream it is, but it's hold on. Let me just search it up, and I'll post it in there. Let me. There we go. It's like basically right at the beginning at like 15 seconds in, but just like let it play so you know what kind of aesthetic this thing is.
Okay, let's see.
The animation in this is wild.
Ooh. His little look back at the camera when he goes to the door. Peppino versus Pepperman.
This looks amazing.
Oh my gosh, what the heck?
Yeah.
Oh
It's a
my
Wario
gosh,
Land
and he's
4.
just
It's
doing a
literally
little Wario arm charge.
And that makes me think, and it's like, damn, it took us like 20 years to make a rip-off Wario Land 4. Yeah, it's Wario Land 4,
exactly what it
but
is.
in this goofy, almost like 90s sort of animated aesthetic where it take every disgusting stereotype, which I know all my family that in Italy hates, but I love so much of like the Italian American, like, hey Peppino, hey, I make the pizza, man, you know, I cook the pizza, you know. That meme I hate. I actually hate that meme so much. I cook the pasta, I cook the pizza, but
look guys, look, it's one of my greatest achievements.
so I look forward to playing that here pretty soon. And then, let's see. I've been watching the first episode of The Mandalorian, of course. So that one was okay, as we described. And
Yep.
I've been watching Bad Batch as well. I've been keeping up with that. I'm enjoying that.
You guys are always watching when I'm at work.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I'm 8 hours ahead.
Yeah.
And then the final thing that I'll say that I've been watching, because we mentioned it a bit earlier, is that I've started my long slog in my crusade of watching Monogatari all over again. Which is something Mike and I have been... This is a show that Mike and I watched ages and ages ago, and we kind of like promised each other. It's like, we'd go to each other's houses, usually Mike's, and we'd watch this show, and we try to watch through as much as we can. And we didn't even get through halfway done, because that show is... There's so many series. There's so many OVAs.
God, yeah.
There's so many, but regardless, it is of exceptional quality. It is a Japanese animated show by Shaft that always makes quality animation, no matter what they do. And so it is a very let me just say risque show. It's a little risque. Which is kind of it's slang for it's got a lot of fan service, but it's good fan service. It's highbrow. It's highbrow. Okay, it's highbrow fan service, but it's a great show. It's wonderfully well animated. It's incredibly well written. It incredibly like touching and tragic in a lot of scenes, especially when you get to the second season and a lot of stuff starts kind of compounding. But I just finished the first series, and then I'm on to the kind of the first OVA. But I basically just started my journey And by the time I finished the first little season, then I went to Estonia. So, and yeah, that's basically what I've been doing. That's what I've been watching and playing. So,
you guys gonna start having yearly pilgrimages where you rewatch that every year, like how some people watch the entire Lord of the Rings thing every year, something like that?
No. Oh, hell no. I couldn't do that every year. Even shows I do really like, I don't watch every year because they're so big. It's like Clone Wars. I don't watch Clone Wars every year.
That's a lot.
It is a lot.
I'll watch a bit of Clone Wars every year. That's actually one show I consistently do come back to and watch a few episodes. It's usually the Umbar arc, but
yeah,
that or season 7.
Oh yeah, for sure. Season 7 is like sort of a movie you can watch quite a bit.
Honestly, yeah.
I don't know, fellas. Are we good for this episode?
We've talked about a lot, so I think we
got
are.
Quite a bit.
Yeah.
And of course,
yeah,
some stuff might be cut down, some stuff might not, but we'll see. We'll see when it comes out. There's a lot to talk about, but anyway, house cleaning stuff as per usual by the end of these programs. By the time this one has come out, the second impressions video, which is on Hi-Fi Rush, would have come out by then. After this episode comes out, if you listen this far, the week after or a week or two after, basically the next video after this one is going to be finally my first full review video since basically January, since the top 10.
Exciting
stuff. Which is
stuff.
going to be on Faith, the Unholy Trinity. No people are going to enjoy that one. I hope people enjoy it. If not, I'll be like, damn, that's it. I'm done. I'm not making these anymore.
That's right.
I'll quit.
That's basically that. Mike, is there anything that you want to plug with Beaver PI?
No, honestly, that's been on the back burner for a bit. So
yeah, you've been pretty busy as of late.
I was thinking about streaming Atomic Heart, and honestly,
but
other than that, I guess shameless plug. Look forward to that. I might be streaming that in the future.
Yeah, and of course, for people on YouTube, the links to Mike's stuff is down below. To the Spotify cells, you're not getting anything. Stop watching on this platform. But oh yeah, we're on Spotify now. If you're not already listening on there, so give it a watch on there. If that is your preferred method of listening to things, because I know YouTube isn't for a lot. We're also on. We're like on Google Play. We're on a bunch of other podcasting stuff. We're like on iHeartRadio.
Ooh.
We're on a bunch of.
We're like a full-on studio now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I wouldn't say that. We gotta keep our standards low. The audience expectations gotta be rock bottom to enjoy our program.
That's right. They can't be disappointed in us.
Yeah, exactly. They don't expect anything.
No,
the mantra that we developed a couple episodes ago. You won't be disappointed if you have no expectations.
Don't expect it.
You expect the worst. But with that, I don't know, fellas, is there anything you guys want to say before we close it up?
I've done all my shameless plugs, so yeah, I'm all good.
I've got nothing. Hopefully we don't wait 3 weeks to do another one of these.
Or maybe we'll do 3 weeks. I don't know. It don't. The amount of time, it doesn't matter to me so much. It's kind of we'll see if people enjoy the program, and we're like, oh wow, this is good. If people go like, nah, this episode sucks, and it's like, okay, maybe we should split it up a bit so people miss it. But who knows?
Fair enough.
Hey, who knows? Hey, if they're missing it, then they don't know what they're missing.
That's right. Absence does make the heart grow fonder, as they say.
Mm-hmm. It's true. But I don't know. Well, with that, fellas, thank you again for watching the third episode of the TomCast. This is your host, Tom the Chosen One, with, of course, our hosts, Mike, aka Beaver PI, and Andrew. And we all hope for you to have a wonderful day or evening. You fellas, take it easy.